This poster represents work regarding the assessment of flipped classrooms in statistical literacy instruction during the pandemic and presents initial results from a quasi-experimental study with multiple instructors. Farmas and colleagues recently called the flipped classroom the trendiest pedagogical approach in post-secondary educational research. Within the field of statistics education, multiple studies have documented the benefits of the flipped classroom over traditional lecture-style instruction. However, other studies have demonstrated no difference with regards to chaos or final exam scores, statistical reasoning scores, or a DFW rate. Unintentionally, one of our study's unique contributions is that it took place during the COVID-19 pandemic, so we have a mix of delivery formats across semesters where we had remote synchronous instruction and in-person but socially distanced instruction. Additionally, we have 3 instructors, each teaching one flipped classroom section, which we call a SEALS section, and one traditional lecture style section. Today I'm going to focus on answering 2 of our research questions using 1 semester's worth of data. We'll look at differences in conceptual knowledge and attitudes towards statistics and differential impact for groups typically underrepresented in STEM courses. We have a quasi-experimental mixed effect design, as students were not randomized into course sections and data was collected during the first and last weeks of classes. Within each section, students were given course assignment credit for completing the pre and post assessments. However, they had the chance to indicate that their data would not be used for research purposes. The course content for the flipped classrooms were developed and piloted under a 2016 Tennessee Board of Regents course redesign grant. As the start of the grant began during remote instruction, all data collection for the project started online. A Qualtrics survey was used to connect data related to mindset and the survey of attitudes towards statistics. And the online University of Minnesota Artist Assessment Portal was used to administer the 40-item multiple choice chaos. As previously mentioned, we're presenting data only from the fall 21 semester. Most of the students had not taken a prior course in statistics. Most of the students were female. About half of the students reported being Black or African American, which is similar to the demographics of the university. And about 9.8% of the students indicated that they were Hispanic. While the students were given time to complete the assessments in class during the first and last week of the semester, only 68% of the students completed both the pre and post survey that included the SATS items. 66% of students completed both the pre and post test chaos. However, only 39% of students completed the chaos with at least 10 minutes on each exam, which is the threshold recommended by the chaos developers. To address the first research question comparing the flipped classrooms to the traditional sections, 7 separate ANCOVAs were conducted, 1 for each of the 6 different SAT subscales and 1 for the chaos scores. For differential impact, we created a single variable to capture both race and sex of a student. So the ANCOVAs were then repeated using this new variable and the previous two-way interaction with section type to look at differential impact. With respect to the SATS 36, there were slight differences in favor of the flipped or SEALS classroom sections in terms of value and interest. There were no significant differences in chaos scores. Additionally, we found no significant differences in either the SATS 36 or the chaos scores when we looked for differential impact using the combined sex and race variable. The next steps with our project include aggregating the data across all 3 semesters, including an indicator for format, whether the course was online or in person, looking at mindset and inclusion of first-generation status in our differential impact analysis. In terms of limitations, there was one regarding the start of the study at the beginning of the pandemic, which was slightly out of our control. Additionally, we had a less than ideal chaos response rate because we were administering this online during the pandemic. With respect to the chaos, we found similar non-significant results in terms of no impact of class format. However, we found something slightly different than another study that looked at the SATS 36. They had higher SAT scores in their traditional sections as compared to online and flipped classroom sections, whereas we had higher SAT scores for value and interest in the flipped classroom section over the traditional classroom section. With regards to differential impact analysis, the lack of significance could imply that gains in interest and value are similar when race and gender are simultaneously accounted for when modeling student identity. That is, we created a single variable with 4 categories: Black female, white female, Black male, white male, to look at the intersectionality of the student. It's also important to look at first-generation status, as we have a large percentage at our university, and we have multiple first-generation programs within our university to support these students. If you have any questions about our work, please contact me at lee.williams@memphis.edu.